Elon Musk has just launched a $100 million lawsuit, and the entire media world is in shock. His target? A high-profile TV host, Sophia Delacroix. What started as a heated debate on live television has spiraled into one of the biggest legal battles of the year. Sophia thought she was just challenging one of the most powerful men in the world. But within days, everything changed. Legal documents were filed, her network distanced itself, and the internet erupted in chaos. Some called it a fight for free speech. Others saw it as a billionaire using his power to silence criticism. Behind closed doors, things were even more intense. Leaked emails exposed secret discussions among network executives, conversations that hinted at a betrayal she never saw coming. Was she being sacrificed to protect the company? Was there pressure from higher up? Musk's legal team moved fast, pushing for an immediate court date. His message was clear. He wasn't backing down. But just when it seemed like Sophia had no way out, everything changed. A confidential leak landed in her inbox. The information was explosive. It exposed hidden details about the lawsuit that no one expected. Suddenly, the power shifted. Now, the question wasn't just whether Sophia could defend herself. It was what Musk was trying to hide. With the media watching every move and tensions reaching a breaking point, the case took a shocking turn. Would Musk's lawsuit hold up in court? Or had he underestimated the power of public opinion? One thing is certain. This battle is far from over. The next move could change everything. As the lawsuit gained traction, social media exploded with speculation. Supporters of Musk called for accountability, insisting that defamation should not go unpunished. Meanwhile, Delacroix's defenders argued that this was an attack on journalism, a warning to anyone who dared to challenge the rich and powerful. Inside the courtroom, tensions were at an all-time high. Musk's lawyers presented their case, with precision, detailing how Delacroix's statements had allegedly caused irreparable damage to his reputation and business. The evidence they brought forward was compelling, but then the unexpected happened. Sophia's legal team introduced the confidential leak she had received, a set of documents that suggested Musk's lawsuit wasn't just about defamation. Hidden within the pages were internal communications that hinted at a deeper motive, something far beyond public criticism. The revelation sent shock waves through the courtroom. Reporters scrambled to break the story. News outlets dissected every page of the leaked documents, uncovering details that painted a very different picture from the one Musk's legal team had presented. Had this lawsuit been a strategic move to distract from something bigger? Was there another controversy Musk was trying to bury? As the trial progressed, public opinion began to shift. Even some of Musk's most loyal supporters started questioning the lawsuit's true purpose. The once one-sided battle had turned into a war of narratives. Then came the biggest twist of all. A surprise witness took the stand, someone from inside Musk's own circle. What they revealed sent the courtroom into chaos. Cameras flashed, reporters rushed to update their headlines, and the judge called for order. With the truth unraveling faster than anyone anticipated, one question remained. Would Musk press forward, or would he cut his losses before more secrets were exposed? And for Sophia Delacroix, was this the victory she needed, or just the beginning of another fight? The final verdict was approaching, but one thing was clear. This case was far bigger than anyone had imagined. As the courtroom buzzed with tension, the judge called for a recess, giving both legal teams a chance to regroup. Outside, the media frenzy intensified. News anchors dissected every word of the testimony. Social media erupted with theories and The hashtag #YourMuskVsDelacroix dominated the online conversation. Back inside, Musk's legal team faced a critical decision. Should they continue pressing forward, or was it time to settle before more damaging revelations surfaced? Their client, known for his defiance, wasn't one to back down easily. But the new evidence, combined with the bombshell testimony, had weakened their position. Meanwhile, Sophia Delacroix sat with her lawyers, realizing just how much the tide had turned. She had gone from being the underdog to holding a potential checkmate. The leaked documents, the surprise witness, and the overwhelming public support had transformed the case into more than just a legal battle. It was now a fight over power, influence, and truth itself. Then, in a move no one saw coming, Musk's team requested a private meeting with Delacroix's lawyers. Speculation ran wild. Was a settlement on the table? Was Musk looking to avoid a verdict that could damage his empire? Reporters scrambled for answers, but both sides remained tight-lipped. Hours later, news broke. Negotiations were happening behind closed doors. Some sources claimed Musk was offering a massive settlement to end the case quietly. Others suggested Delacroix was holding out, refusing to sign anything unless the full truth came to light. As the courtroom doors reopened, all eyes were on the judge. Would the trial continue, or had a deal been struck? The tension was unbearable. The next word spoken would determine not just the fate of the lawsuit, but the reputations of both Musk and Delacroix. Then, in a stunning moment, the judge made an announcement that no one expected, something that would change everything once again. The judge cleared his throat, the courtroom falling into a heavy silence as cameras rolled and journalists clutched their notepads, waiting for the next bombshell. Due to new evidence brought to light, the judge announced, both parties have requested a private discussion regarding the potential resolution of this case. A ripple of murmurs spread through the room. This wasn't just a settlement. It was a calculated move, a sign that both sides saw risks in continuing. But what exactly had been uncovered that forced such a drastic shift? Behind closed doors, the negotiations were intense. Musk's legal team was adamant. Any agreement must include a strict confidentiality clause, preventing Delacroix from discussing the case publicly. For Musk, it was a matter of control. He had built an empire on his name, and any further damage could shake the foundation of his influence. But Sophia wasn't willing to walk away in silence. She had already been vilified, abandoned by her network, and dragged through the media circus. Accepting a settlement meant securing her future, but it also meant letting Musk walk away without facing full accountability. Her lawyers argued for a public resolution, something that would allow her to speak freely, exposing the power dynamics at play. Hours passed, and tensions escalated. Then, another twist, new leaked documents hit the internet, just as the negotiations were happening. These files, allegedly from within Musk's own inner circle, suggested that the lawsuit had originally been planned not just as a reaction to Delacroix's statements, but as a warning to other journalists who might challenge him in the future. The public outcry was immediate. Silencing the media and Musk cover-up began trending worldwide. The pressure mounted, and suddenly, a quiet settlement didn't seem like an option anymore. Inside the meeting room, Musk's expression hardened. He realized that this wasn't just a legal battle anymore, it was a war of perception, and he was losing. With the case spiraling out of control, a final decision had to be made. Would Musk retreat and salvage his reputation, or would he double down and take the case to a verdict? And for Delacroix, was this about justice, or had she just been handed the biggest opportunity of her career? The doors opened again. The E2 judge re-entered the courtroom. The world held its breath, waiting for the final twist in a battle that had already changed everything. As the judge took his seat, the courtroom fell into a tense silence. The media, the public, and both legal teams braced for what was about to unfold. "The court has been informed," the judge began, his voice steady, "that both parties have reached a resolution. However, due to the public interest surrounding this case, certain terms must be disclosed." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. This wasn't going to be a quiet settlement, at least not entirely. Sophia Delacroix sat upright, her hands clenched together. Her legal team had fought hard for transparency, and now the world would finally know the truth. Musk's lawyers exchanged glances. They had managed to avoid a trial, but at what cost? The leaked documents, the media pressure, and the public backlash had forced their hand. The judge continued, "Elon Musk and Sophia Delacroix have agreed to dismiss the lawsuit under undisclosed financial terms. However, Ms. Delacroix retains the right to speak about her experience, provided she does not make any further unsubstantiated claims." A wave of murmurs spread across the room. Musk had sought total silence, but he hadn't gotten it. This meant Delacroix could still tell her story, though carefully. Musk remained composed, but those who knew him well could see it. This wasn't the victory he had hoped for. The damage had already been done. His attempt to control the narrative had only amplified it. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed for statements. Delacroix stepped up to the microphones first, her voice steady yet defiant. "This case was never just about me," she said. "It was about power, influence, and the right to question those at the top. I stood my ground, and I'll continue to do so." The crowd erupted in applause, and within minutes her words were trending. Worldwide, she had gone from a target to a symbol of resistance. Musk, on the other hand, left through a private exit, avoiding the cameras. His legal team had neutralized the immediate threat, but the court of public opinion was another battle entirely. As the dust settled, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a lawsuit. It was a defining moment in the war between billionaires and the media, between influence and accountability. And though this chapter had closed, the ripple effects were only just beginning. In the days following the settlement, the media couldn't stop talking about it. News outlets debated who had truly won. Was it Musk, who avoided a damaging court verdict? Or was it Delacroix, who emerged as a defiant voice against corporate influence? Social media was split. Musk's supporters claimed the lawsuit had served its purpose, warning journalists against spreading misinformation. Others saw it as a failed attempt to silence the press, proving that even billionaires couldn't escape scrutiny. Meanwhile, Delacroix capitalized on the momentum. She was offered exclusive interviews, book deals, and even discussions about hosting her own independent show. Once seen as a network pawn, she had now become a symbol of journalistic freedom. And with Musk unable to enforce complete silence, she carefully revealed details about the legal battle, exposing the behind-the-scenes pressure she had faced. But Musk wasn't done. While he remained quiet publicly, insiders hinted that he was furious about how the case had unfolded. Some speculated that he was strategizing his next move, perhaps not another lawsuit, but a calculated campaign to regain control over the narrative. Then, another twist shook everything again. A whistleblower, allegedly from within Musk's legal team, leaked an internal memo suggesting that the lawsuit had been planned long before Delacroix's controversial segment aired. If true, this meant the case wasn't just reactive. It was premeditated, possibly as part of a broader effort to intimidate critics. The leak set off a new firestorm. Investigative journalists dug deeper, questioning whether Musk had used lawsuits as a tool to suppress dissent. Lawmakers even hinted at potential inquiries into the influence of billionaires over the media. For Delacroix, this was bigger than she had ever imagined. She wasn't just a journalist caught in a lawsuit. She was now at the center of a much larger movement, one that was calling for accountability at the highest levels. As she sat down for a primetime interview, the host asked her a final question. "What's next for you?" She took a deep breath, knowing that whatever she said next would set the course for the future. "I'm not stopping here," she said firmly. "This fight isn't just mine. It belongs to anyone who believes in the truth." The screen faded to black, but the conversation was far from over. The battle lines had been drawn, and the world was watching. As the interview aired, social media erupted once again. Truth Matters and T. Delacroix vs. Musk trended worldwide. The story had evolved beyond a lawsuit. It had become a cultural flashpoint about the power of billionaires, the role of journalism, and the fight for transparency. Behind closed doors, Musk and his advisors assessed the damage. His legal battle had failed to silence Delacroix, and the whistleblower leak had only made things worse. Though he remained outwardly composed, sources close to him hinted that he was furious. The world was scrutinizing him in ways he hadn't anticipated, and for the first time in a long time, he was losing control of the narrative. Delacroix, on the other hand, had more opportunities than ever. Major networks wanted exclusives, publishers pitched book deals, and activists reached out, eager to turn her story into a larger movement. But with her newfound influence came a new set of dangers. Late one night, she received an anonymous message. "You've won this round, but be careful. Some people don't forget." She stared at the screen, feeling the weight of the warning. Was it just an internet troll? A disgruntled Musk supporter? Or something more sinister? Her lawyers urged caution. Her security team advised laying low. But Sophia knew she couldn't back down now. The lawsuit had been just the beginning. The whistleblower leak had hinted at a deeper, more calculated strategy to suppress media criticism. If she didn't push forward, who would? Determined, she reached out to investigative journalists she trusted. Together, they began digging into a larger story, one that went beyond Musk's lawsuit. They started uncovering patterns, lawsuits, settlements, and behind-the-scenes pressure campaigns against journalists who had criticized powerful figures. Then, another breakthrough. A former executive from Musk's company agreed to talk. Off the record at first, they hinted at a network of high-profile figures using their wealth to quietly manipulate the media. "This goes deeper than you think," the source warned. "If you expose this, you won't just be fighting Musk. You'll be fighting an entire system." Sophia knew she was at a crossroads. She had survived the lawsuit, but what came next was far bigger. This wasn't just about her story anymore. It was about exposing a system built to silence critics before they could even speak. As she prepared for the next phase of her battle, one thing was clear. The war for truth was just beginning. And, this time, she wasn't backing down. As Sophia Delacroix and her team of investigative journalists dug deeper, they uncovered a pattern that sent shockwaves through the media industry. It wasn't just Musk. Several other powerful billionaires had used lawsuits, financial influence, and secret settlements to control narratives, silence critics, and manipulate public perception. The deeper she went, the more dangerous it became. Key sources suddenly backed out. Some even disappeared from public view entirely. Anonymous threats flooded her inbox, warning her to stop before she crossed the line. Her legal team advised her to tread carefully. but Sophia knew she was onto something massive. Then another major break. A high-ranking insider, someone from within Musk's own network, agreed to go on record. Under the cover of darkness, they met in a secure location. With a shaking voice, the whistleblower confirmed what Sophia suspected. There's an entire system in place, they admitted. Lawsuits aren't just about defamation. They're weapons, tools to intimidate, to control, to erase inconvenient truths before they gain traction. Sophia's hands tightened around her recorder. And Musk? She pressed. The whistleblower hesitated. He's just one player in a much bigger game, but he's been a key figure in perfecting these tactics. The lawsuit against you? It was never just about your words. It was a test to see if you'd break. Sophia leaned back, taking in the weight of the revelation. The lawsuit had been a warning shot, and because she had fought back, she had become a threat. As the whistleblower left, Sophia realized she had a choice. She could walk away now, knowing she had already won her battle against Musk, or she could go further, exposing a system designed to keep the powerful untouchable. The next morning, she made her decision. She and her team would publish everything. A full exposé, backed by hard evidence, sources, and undeniable proof. But just as she was finalizing the report, her phone rang. A private number. She hesitated before answering. A deep voice spoke. "You think you've won? You have no idea what you're up against." The line went dead. Sophia exhaled slowly, steadying herself. The war for the truth wasn't just beginning. It had already started. And now, there was no turning back. Sophia Delacroix sat in silence, the weight of the call settling over her. She had expected resistance, but this was different. The tone, the warning. It wasn't just intimidation. It was a reminder that she was now playing a dangerous game, one where the stakes were higher than she had ever imagined. She looked down at her laptop, her unfinished exposé staring back at her. The story she was about to break wouldn't just take on Musk. It would unravel an entire network of power, money, and control. And if what the whistleblower had said was true, she wasn't just up against one billionaire. She was up against an entire system built to crush dissent before it even began. Her legal team urged caution. Some of her colleagues wanted to delay the release to gather more protection. But Sophia knew that waiting meant giving her enemies time to strike first. That night, she made a decision. She locked herself in her office, reviewed every document, verified every source, and scheduled the exposé to publish at dawn. Then, at exactly 6 a.m., it went live. The article hit like a bomb. Within minutes, it spread across social media. News outlets picked it up, and the internet exploded. The Billionaire Playbook: How the Ultra-Rich Silenced the Media became the most read investigative piece of the year. Names were named, documents were leaked. Testimonies from whistleblowers painted a chilling picture of how lawsuits, media buyouts, and political connections were used to control public narratives. And at the center of it all, Musk, along with several other major players, all linked, in ways that had never been exposed before. The reaction was immediate. Some called it the greatest journalistic exposé of the decade. Others dismissed it as conspiracy. But one thing was certain: people were paying attention. Musk's legal team responded within hours, calling the report reckless, defamatory, and filled with baseless accusations. But behind the scenes, panic was setting in. Investors were asking questions. Governments hinted at investigations. And then, another shockwave. A second whistleblower came forward, This time, not just with testimony, but with video evidence. A hidden recording from inside a closed-door meeting, proving everything Sophia had claimed. The video was leaked that night, and when the world saw what was on it, everything changed. The question was no longer whether Sophia had uncovered the truth. It was whether those in power would let her survive it. As the leaked video spread like wildfire, the internet was set ablaze. The footage showed top executives, legal advisors, and even political figures discussing strategies to suppress journalists, manipulate news cycles, and use lawsuits as intimidation tactics. And at the center of it all, Musk. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Protesters gathered outside media headquarters, demanding accountability. Lawmakers announced emergency hearings, vowing to investigate corporate interference in journalism. Even some of Musk's most loyal supporters began questioning whether their idol had gone too far. Inside Musk's inner circle, chaos erupted. Damage control teams worked overtime, issuing carefully crafted statements denying wrongdoing. Some of his allies distanced themselves, fearing that staying close to him could cost them their own reputations. But Musk himself? He refused to back down. In a surprise move, he went live on his own platform, directly addressing the allegations. His voice was calm, measured. "This is nothing but an attack on success," he said. "A coordinated smear campaign by those who fear innovation, who fear disruption. They want to control the media. They want to silence voices that challenge the status quo. And now they've turned their sights on me." His supporters rallied, flooding social media with defenses. The battle lines were redrawn. One side, hailing Sophia Delacroix as a fearless truth-teller. The other accusing her of being part of a larger conspiracy to take down the world's most influential billionaire. Meanwhile, Sophia remained in hiding. The threats had escalated. Anonymous messages, attempts to hack her accounts, even reports of unidentified figures lurking near her home. Her legal team urged her to lay low, but she knew the fight wasn't over. Then, another twist. A confidential document was leaked, this time from within Musk's legal team. It revealed that, behind the scenes, they were preparing for something big. Not just another lawsuit, something more aggressive, more permanent. Sophia stared at the document, a chill running through her. "They're not just trying to silence me," she whispered. "They're trying to erase me." The realization hit her like a wave. This wasn't just a battle for the truth anymore. This was survival. And as she prepared for the next phase of the fight, one thing became clear. She was running out of time.